Sergeant Dmitry Volkov, 1st Separate Armored Division, Madrid, July 30, 1937. Our unit has been on deployment since Wuhan last year, and it's taken a toll. Most of our old BT-5s have either been destroyed or broken down, and we're still about 50 tanks short of full strength, but reinforcements are scarce, so we make do with what we have. We're the tip of the spear, and I can proudly say that our division is probably the fiercest and most dangerous group the Russian army has to offer. Last month, we ran a frontal assault against Carlist militia holding Madrid, after we had driven them out of Toledo. Most of their equipment was still on the road, and we'd overtaken most of them. The infantry can mop them up. They didn't have time to dig in, so what few barricades they had, we simply drove through them. The chaos in the streets was immeasurable. Civilians fleeing mixed in with disorganised militia troops. One of the biggest problems we have is the large railway gun the Carlists have hidden in the hills to the south. We've never been able to pinpoint the location, but it must be one. Nothing else could fire shells that size. Now we're moving to plug a hole in the lines to the northwest, and if we can hold that position, we should be able to collapse the cauldron and secure the capital. We better get a move on. Rumor has it that the local militia have abandoned Zaragoza, and there's just open road between the Carlists and Barcelona. The 1st Separate Armored is indeed one of the most experienced and hardened divisions that we have to offer. So that attack here, despite us taking railway gun fire, should not be too bad, and we should be able to break this division here. And if we can get the other tank division up in the north, we can conclude the cauldron. There is the railway gun, causing us all kinds of grief. Now in the Balkans, we're just sort of holding positions at this point, waiting to see if Bulgaria is going to collapse once the 4th Armored has broken through in Dobrich and taken Varna. So let's have a quick look on how where are we? Serbian-Bulgarian war. Yeah, I doubt that they're going to collapse just yet. So we might have to start planning another assault here, and we'll see if we can just keep reducing the northern front line. Honestly, let's see if we can mount an assault eastwards here, while the 34th is defending against an Ottoman from one of the remaining Ottoman divisions. Not many. I think most of them have been destroyed in the north of Romania. In the States, we are running an assault against the critical supply hub south of Denver, and meanwhile the 2nd Guards are moving north towards Cheyenne. We'll see if we can secure that territory. So after we've taken Cheyenne, I think from there on, there's not an awful lot of point on taking a supply hub over there, other than to deny it to the enemy. But we don't have a railway connection, so there's really not an awful lot going from there. There's a supply position that's essential, and then we're basically holding all of the mountain range. So I think from here on out we'll just see that we can potentially encircle a few enemy divisions and cut the lines towards the north, and see what we do from there. Right. First of all, Spain is essential. So let's see if we can manage to counterattack from the south. So the 1st Mechanized is getting pinned and has been cut off because of the absolute lack of cohesion that the Spanish militia are showing here. So that is less than ideal. But we've almost broken out, at which point we'll be reconnected. So Madrid, we're holding Madrid. Madrid has been encircled by the enemy due to lack of control from the friendly troops. But we should be able to break out of that cauldron without too much trouble. Today is another day of restoration, celebrating the birth of the restored empire and the coronation of the Tsar after 20 years of a vacant throne. The day has become increasingly propagandistic, with a great military parade cutting through Moscow in the bright colors of the volunteer army units. Emperor Kirill I is greeting them in the uniform of the naval infantry, young and dashing, and almost always one can see General Field Marshal Wrangel on the Tsar side in widely publicized events. Church bells are ringing and sermons are being dedicated to the Romanovs returning in Russia's darkest hour. The day is full of mysticism and every aspect, holy or mysterious, of the imperial dynasty is shown. Events are arranged in all parts of Russia, and the evening culminates with the imperial ball in Petrograd, where the most accomplished citizens of the empire are invited to personally meet the emperor. 2% base stability, I'll take it. But more importantly, we do have to make our way out from Spain. But it looks like, we've reconnected, no big trouble, which means we are going to have to actually redirect our assault now. They have captured the south bank of the river, which is less than ideal. So okay, I think we'll simply defend at this point, and the hope for an encirclement has not materialized simply due to the inefficiency of the local militia, which means we'll have to have a new goal. We'll see if we can break east and make our way across the river there, and see if we can connect to the friendly lines near Cuenca, where French tanks, the 6th Armored, is currently fighting. And we'll see if we can manage to connect there, provided that friendly troops are going to hold Madrid. And they shouldn't have any supply here. So as long as Madrid is being held, they're not going to have any supply in the region. So this should not be too hard. Plus, we actually do have air cover now from the close air support planes in the area. No opposition, so that should help as well. All right. Are we able to? Okay, they have gotten reinforcements, so we'll probably just stop the assault here for now. Wait for the enemy mountain division to move, and we're still trying to break through the 7th Bulgarian division here. It's just not. It's harder than it initially looks. Right, moving north towards holding Cheyenne, and we'll see where we'll see where we move from there. Maybe we can move around to encircle one of the enemy divisions. The attack on however, the attack here is not going too greatly, simply because these National Guards divisions are pretty well dug in and pretty well equipped as well. So that might still be a little harder, but let's focus back on Spain. I do have to keep an eye on things here. Promise of work 150 days out. So we sponsor. After that's done, we're going to have to do the other focuses. We are at we're never going to get to 150 factories that way easily. All right, so that's something we need to worry about. But first, let's defend against the enemy onslaught here. We're getting reinforcements in Madrid, so we'll start pushing east. Okay, reinforcements have arrived, so we'll start pushing east and see if we can close the lines along the fronts here and collapse the enemy cauldron. And we're going to support the attack here. But there are fresh reinforcements, and the 4th Infantry here is holding the line, so we'll have to see how much we can get done here. Supplies are running a little low. It's because Madrid is not yet... no, Madrid is connected, so we should actually be all right on supply here, to be honest. Madrid is connected, so we'll try to collapse the central cauldron here, because there's only the 2nd Infantry Division in the north that is holding. That's the only thing that stands between the Carlists and Barcelona. The past months have seen the drastic growth of the 5th Department of the General Chief of Staff of the War Ministry, the Army's intelligence agency, under the leadership of Pavel Shatilov, Wrangel's second-hand man. As the Okhrana was vastly downsized after the fall of Savinkov, it seems that Shatilov's agency recruited many of the former agents into their own service and inherited many of their networks. Officially, the 5th Department is responsible to the War Ministry, but in practice, this only makes it the Black Baron's personal intelligence service. Unlike Kornilov or Denikin, who had the finesse of a bear, Wrangel is carved from a different wood. He has refrained from conflict with the government, but has steadily made himself the most well-informed man in Russia through the 5th Department and a confidential relationship with the Emperor. The 5th Department is nominally only focused on military intelligence, But in practice, the organization is becoming a shadow Okrana, another secret police, but in control of the army. So, understandable, given that Wrangel had to go through to make this all happen. So we have two options. We can either fund him, which means we pay 40 political power for 4% stability, or we can let Wrangel handle it, which means that we're losing 5%, we're getting a 5% political power gain debuff for an operative slot. Neither of these options is good. This is kind of a total long-term hustle, because that's 5% political power gain debuff. That absolutely sucks. And I don't see that we can get rid of that, but we get an extra operative, which isn't bad, but also not really needed at this point. I'd actually rather take the base stability, but I really can't afford the political power right now, because we need to get off the civilian economy. So no, we're not spending political power at this point. We'll trust the Black Baron's judgment. And yes, I understand that that's impeding future political power gain, but that's just something we'll have to deal with, because I really don't want to spend the political power now. All right, quick look where we're standing. Dobrich attack is moving on, and from there on we'll push towards Varna. I think the 10th is about to collapse here as well. In the States, we have taken Cheyenne, so supply lines are okay. Denver is not yet connected, so Cheyenne isn't either. But we can probably not sure where that division unit is engaged. We'll see if we can. We'll see if we can get around the rear here, and simply cut off. Simply take some territory and cut off some of the more of these divisions in the north. So we'll simply send the second guards to secure some territory here and wait for the Pacific States units to show up. This is not going well, that assault. The 8th Guard is already at its last legs, and it's really just the Mountain Division that is assisting here. And unfortunately, only the 4th Virginia Militia is very much out of supply. The other ones are still pretty well supplied. So that is, what are these units? Yeah, they're equipped with artillery. They're very well equipped units, so this isn't going to be easy to break. However, that is an essential supply position to take, so we'll keep pressing the attack there. Over in Spain, let's see if we can manage to break through here. It shouldn't be too bad with two armored divisions. We should be able to break them here. And then see if we can link up in Cuenca and cut off the whole southern region there. Tarragona they're almost through to the coast. That's actually a massive problem. If they cut the railway at Tarragona, then we're losing supply to the other regions. So we do need to free up troops, and they're all concentrated over there. The French, as usual, the French are doing something. So this is actually rather critical that we make this happen. Here we're still waiting for units to move out, and that one's still ongoing. So let's keep an eye on the Spanish situation. If we can manage to break through here and cut off the enemy divisions from supply. Of course, they have gotten reinforced, but it looks like the French have broken through have managed to break through in the south. So this is actually getting rather positive. We just have to be quick before they cut the lines at Tarragona, because there is no defense. The militia has left this critical railway junction completely open. Meanwhile, in Peru, that reminds me, yes, they are overrunning Ecuador at this point, as expected, because Ecuador just doesn't have the troops to hold them. The Peruvian president, Luis Miguel Sanchez Cerro, was shot yesterday morning at the Hippodrome in Santa Beatriz while returning from a review of recruits going to fight in a war with Ecuador. The assassin, supporter of the illegal Socialist Party, the Peru-Bolivian, no, these are not socialists. Okay, so it was a socialist that has assassinated them. Managed to breach the police cordon and fired several shots into the president, who was sitting in the back of an open car. Yeah, that is generally not a good idea. This sort of thing leads to world wars. Close your cars and secure them properly. Sanchez Cerro was immediately transported to a nearby Italian hospital, but he was confirmed dead 15 minutes later. In the ensuing succession turmoil, the Constitutional Congress elected General Oscar Benavides as interim president. But his address to the congressmen, he made a promise: election will be held as soon as possible to pacify the country. Yeah, bullets decide the fate of states. This kind of thing tends to happen. It's always rather unfortunate. Quick look. We are not going to be able to encircle the enemy troops here. So I think we'll just hold position in. They've sent reinforcements. We'll maintain the hub in Cheyenne, and we will see. Yeah, this assault. I think only the Russian troops are still actually in this fight, but we will see. We'll see if we can manage to break this. Once they've secured Cheyenne, I can pull the second guard south as well. Okay, Spain, because we do have to keep an eye on the railway lines here, and it looks like we have broken through. Madrid, however, is open again. We may be able to push east here. We'll try to close the positions east of here, and see if we can broaden the front lines a little bit. The armored division here is currently getting counterattacked, so we'll just defend and move with the first separate mechanized. All right, it looks like things in the Kazakh region are coming to a head. So this whole thing had started out as a settler conflict because we had started settling more people in uninhabited lands. Tens of thousands of Kazakhs have been displaced from their traditional farmlands by the Cossacks and Russian settlers, and without having the means to feed themselves, have been reportedly resorting to banditry. Clashes with Cossacks and government forces throughout Alashkala have been reported with no end in sight. Local authorities have called on the Russian government to send assistance. The Alash party has called on the government to instead help the displaced Kazakhs, many of whom are facing violence and even starvation. The plight has begun to draw the attention of the Russian public, with opposition leaders criticizing the government for continuing a policy of colonization, which has led only to increased suffering. Well, we do need to modernize. The agriculture is in dire need of modernization. But obviously, the stated goal of the Russian democracy is that every citizen of Russia has rights. So let's see. Currently, Kazakh emergency is costing me stability, but unrest is at 0. So let's see. We can force them out simply, which will cause an armed resistance. We can spend 75 political power to helping the displaced Kazakhs. We do not have political power to spare right now. We do need to prepare the country for confrontation with Germany. This is a matter that overrides the necessity on the ground. We can simply give it time, and it'll work itself out. That'll actually add resistance. How's the resistance looking right now? There's no resistance in the area, but that might change. So Turgay, where's Turgay? Where is it? There. Okay, so this area would gain resistance. We could bring things to a head and simply force them out, but that would obviously not work. We currently cannot afford to support the we could recover some of our goodwill with the Kazakhs, but we cannot afford the political power right now. So we will simply have to give it time, and it'll have to work itself out. Local authorities do need to sort out these things. They cannot always just rely on Moscow to do it for them. All right, the first separate mechanized is about to close the trap here by linking up with Cuenca, and then if we can hold the positions, we can work on clearing out the enemy troops in the south rapidly, hopefully. So we are also going to need, we're actually just holding the line here against the counterattack from the north. But let's see if we can manage this. How much longer are we? Are we almost done here? 2 more days. Let's see if we can manage this. So we're immediately going to have to start swinging south and driving the Spanish back south of the river. So let's see if that works out, and we can manage to close that position. There are some Carlist defenders here, but they are being pinned by the 7th Brigade from Cuenca itself. So if we can bring the tanks through across the river and cut them off in the north, that would be a massive gain. Meanwhile, okay, we have to stop first. We couldn't keep pushing towards Varna simply because the tank division is actually exhausted after taking Dobrich. So we'll remain here. We'll let the 4th Mechanized recover, and then we'll launch another assault onto Varna. Meanwhile, generally troops are being pushed back, and the ground is being gained here. So we'll see where we redeploy the mountain forces here, because I do think that this war is still going to continue. So probably we'll try to reduce enemy troops wherever we can, concentrate, see if we can cut off some divisions and destroy the northern flank, and then just collapse it from there rather than having to fight our way through the mountains here. All right, so we'll group up our troops here, and then we'll see where that goes. The land reform should, 30 days, almost done. We will see what the outcome of that's going to be. In the U.S., yes, they are holding Cheyenne now, so we can bring the troops back south. But I think at this point, the assault has failed on that supply position. We could instead leave that be, because while it's necessary for us to take that, there's a lot of defense here. So we could instead simply begin moving north and securing the northern lines. That might be a better use of our fighting power. So let's change the front lines towards Cheyenne. Leave that to the Pacific states, and we're getting a new offensive goal to reach the Canadian border. So we'll get all divisions north. We are waiting for the supply lines here to be connected, but that should not take much longer because we have a connection to Denver. So that should flow eventually, and then we can begin moving north from there and consolidate our front lines, basically. All right, Spain is where it's at. So let's see. Yes, okay. So we have managed to cut off a whole group of enemy divisions, and Tarragona is still holding. So we've got this division north, who's going to have to hold the lines here. And we've got the first separate, which is going to have to push through the enemy formations. Meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, they declared independence. Nationalist rebels wrestled control of the island's capital, San Juan, and killed military installations in one fell swoop. Foreign forces evacuated the island, and the Americans have lost an important position. How's the battle here going on, actually? Washington has fallen. So And it looks like the incursions near Charleston are somewhat successful, which means that the syndicates are potentially taking potentially take a fair amount of territory here on the East Coast, which is rather bad news because that's where a lot of the industry is sitting, but not something we can deal with right now, actually. Okay, that still needs time. Spain is where we're dealing with at the moment, which is the most important position at this point. We can potentially try to, we'll go back to Madrid, and from there we'll hope that we can hold the lines there in case anybody runs any assaults, and just making sure that there's no further incursion. All right, so this exhausted Carlist division here needs to be destroyed. Are we engaged? We're not yet engaged, actually. We're still trying to reinforce that. These troops are starving, and we just need to keep a very close eye if anybody makes any moves north rather than east, west, or south. Militias are helping. Tarragona is still holding, and this is a slow-going process here. So we'll just keep an eye on any potential enemy movements that could cause trouble for this. But meanwhile, sponsoring of progressive literature is complete. Well, one of the main reasons why democracy in Russia failed to prevent the far right's rise to power is the political ignorance of its population. That is a massively important point. So just stepping away from the game for a second here. Democracy only works if the people actually have sufficient political education to know what they are doing. Because you cannot have a government by the people if the people are stupid or simply uneducated. People couldn't recognize plain populism for what it was and would rather trust the vozhd instead of seemingly out-of-touch political elites. We will fund the opening of progressive literature clubs across the country in order to allow more people to engage in politics, simultaneously rejuvenating our political class. So this is super important. Education is the absolute key, and political education should be both independent, so not politically or ideologically motivated, and should absolutely be a mandatory issue for everybody to understand. Because you can't run if you vote, you have to know what you're voting for. And if you don't know, then literally this happens. So this is very, very relevant in any point. Okay, back to the game, actually. That was just one of those, that's one of my pet peeves. All right, we have 145 days left on the promise of work. We are running both the Northern Route and the Vladivostok Railroad campaigns at 80 more days, which means we need to get the Ural program development in the Heartland and the Siberian development program done. This will give us a civilian factory, and that gives us a research bonus. So I'm going to take the civilian factory first, plus a few projects, which I will not have political power for. How's our flamethrower tank coming along? We have we have a prototype iteration event. What happened here? We've created our first prototype, but the testing has been inconclusive. So this iteration produced 21% progress, but we lost 5% progress due to the inconclusive testing. Well, that could have gone better, but oh well. It is what it is. We're still working towards researching the flamethrower tank. All right, quick look in the other theaters. I think everything else is relatively stable here. And we will launch another assault. We can probably begin the attack. Get these two divisions. Cannot. Okay. We'll get these attacks underway here and see if we can manage to cut off some enemy troops in Pleven. But meanwhile, the essential fighting is here, where we do have to keep a very close eye to make sure that nobody breaks out northwards. Otherwise, we'll have to immediately counterattack from Madrid, while we are still waiting for the tank. Okay, the tanks are engaged, and they've moved in from the north. That is very unfortunate. So we'll still try to collapse. If we can break through here, we can still collapse the lines. This is not yet the end. but we may have to drive back and counter the Carlist troops in the north here. That leaves Madrid open, of course, but we'll wait. We'll see if any militia actually might join us here. Let's see. But this assault here, okay, instant counter attack from the northern position. This assault here is essential, though, that the first separate mechanized can break through, and we have broken through with the assistance of friendly troops. So now it is key that we are going to quickly destroy these enemy positions. So I'm going to start already the first assault from Madrid. This is less than ideal because we have to cross the bridges to get there, but these troops are relatively out of equipment. We've got the French in the north with the 6th Armored, and as long as they don't reconnect the lines, we should be all right. We do have some support in Madrid now, and we're immediately sending the first mechanized in into the fray against 3 enemy divisions, which are all very low on equipment and fuel. But we will need some assistance here to break this. However, that's why we're already sending the other armored division over. And we'll see how far the first mechanized can push this before things get out of hand. Right, counterattack here, but we should have Romanian divisions holding this. And they are now protecting the capital quite significantly. So I don't think we can break this. We'll complete. We will complete the preparations. That might take a little bit of time, but we'll get there eventually. Can we upgrade any of our troops here? Do we have a field marshal actually for the Americans? Yeah, we've got Boldyrev actually available, so I will get him assigned. That is good. While we are consolidating these divisions for potential moves north, Cheyenne is now defended. So let's take what territory we can and see what breakthroughs we can achieve here before enemy troops come in and join that. These lines are stable. The rest of the troops is moving. Back to Spain, where things are really heating up. Planes in the air, and fortunately the French have sent the 4th Armored in now to help secure the lines as well. And I think as soon as they can actually get on the attack here, we should be relatively safe. The troops have moved out of Tarragona and are securing the supply line. That has been extremely tight. Yes, I've seen that things are going down in India, but let's have a quick look. So the commune in India, so the syndicalists, have declared war. Have declared war on the Dominion, and volunteer forces from the Austrian Empire have returned. We are probably going to have to support the Dominion of India here, interestingly enough. Although, so this is an interesting question. We have 2 options. Yeah, if we support the commune, that would give further troop to the Third International, which would help in the war against Germany, but it would leave a large syndicalist bloc in the south. Whereas if we support the Dominion, that would support the revanchist old kingdoms, which will probably join the war potentially on the side of Germany against the syndicalists. So either side's actually not great for us at this point. We might just leave them to it, to be honest. We're already fighting in enough wars as it is, so we'll leave them to it, and we'll see that we can wrap up the operations in Spain first, while keeping a close eye on things. Also, party popularity has gone over 30, so we can eventually run the address to the people for 10% base stability, but because we are still in need to reach 50% stability for the coalition of idealists. And that would be a good move. In that direction. So a fair few things that we still need to do here. But first of all, we need to deal with the situation in Spain. So keeping a close eye and making sure that nobody breaks the encirclement of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 divisions and 1 railway gun. So that, if that doesn't break the Carlists back, then I don't know what will. But I think with that move, we should have. With that move, I think we will have destroyed the positions there. The West Indies Federation declared war on Puerto Rico. Okay, is that something we want to get involved in? Probably not. Honestly, we have no dealings in the Gulf of Mexico, and no political interest there either. So we will not necessarily be doing anything there. All right, 2 American divisions potential to be encircled here. So let's move and see what we can do. There is a supply position in the north here that we may be able to take over here in South Dakota, just to deny. Because there's not an awful lot else here for quite a while. So just to deny that to the rest of them, that would be pretty good. But different problems, future problems. Right now we have to manage the Spanish situation and actually the situation here as well. We have broken through here, so let's see if we have an opportunity. Not really for encirclements, but if we have an opportunity to further the lines. No need. It looks like the peace deal has been signed between the Serbian Republic and Bulgaria. So by the looks of it, Bulgaria has been greatly reduced, and the war is over, interestingly enough. So without us having to take Varna, it looks like the enemy troops have capitulated, and the Serbians have retaken a lot of land that they had lost. The Romanians and the Greek as well, and with a much reduced Bulgaria, the war in the Balkans is over, which means that we now potentially actually have some troops to support other theaters if necessary. But we can concentrate on the situation in Spain and with the Americas for now. So let's do that then. We are also running into trouble with garrisons. Do we have... what's our garrison situation? What do we have? Oh, that's why. Yes, okay. That is bad. So resistance has started to grow in... the Kazakh regions. That is an obvious problem. So resistance targets of 80%. That actually has the potential to cause massive troubles. So let's review the occupation strategy here. We are currently running on local police force. We're using the NKVD division. Okay, let me look at the template for that. Okay, that's not the potentially most efficient. They have a suppression of 7.2. That's a suppression of 16. Obviously, it's graded by so division size doesn't really matter. The military police, however, doesn't really help an awful lot. So that's all right. We can use it. The cavalry. I don't think the cavalry would be significantly better, but we can take a look. So we currently, the biggest problem is equipment. Okay, so we need to deprioritize reinforcements and prioritize equipment. Infantry equipment is the biggest problem. Do we have anybody we could ask to supply us with infantry equipment? We can, yeah, we're not at war, so that would be a negative. that means, yeah, all production of infantry equipment now has to go into the. This is a big problem. Has to go into the resistance because we are having an agent now who is currently rooting out resistance in Chechnya. That is not helpful because there is no resistance in Chechnya. Begin by rooting out resistance here in Karagranda because that will help a little bit. So that should. And yes, we would probably have to change the laws as well. So we're currently running local police force. I think we are going to go down a bit heavier than that. So with an 80% resistance target, I am tempted to declare martial law, honestly, before that gets out of hand. So let's do that. And Mountain Republic is probably somewhere around there. There's a similar problem. So we'll be declaring martial law. That gets us down to 60%, which is still too much. But hopefully we have to keep a very close eye on that. Hopefully the increased equipment and for actually equipping the garrisons completely is going to work. This is a problem, and we definitely need to keep a very close eye on it because that can spiral out of control in terms of garrison and manpower needs. So right now we've got 46,000 men in garrison, but if we don't get the rifles to actually supply them, then that's a big problem. All right, back to let me quickly reassign the Americans to a different hotkey. Okay, yeah, that looks sane. So we get the infantry to follow up here, and then I think we'll have a. Then I think we'll have an encirclement of American troops here, and we'll work our way northwards. All right, Spain. Spanish War. We are making our way across the river, and I think we can cut these. Divisions, and we'll clean that up relatively quickly. And already things are not going well in the Dominion. Lahore has fallen, so last vestige of the British Raj. It looks like the commune is going to be. It seems to be making very quick inroads into the Dominion of India. In the end, I would assume that these are probably more likely to join forces with the Reichspakt, since we have joined forces with the Third International, simply because they obviously want to retake their homelands. So we'll not be helping the Dominion, but we'll also not be helping the commune. Let them fight it out for as long as possible, and concentrate on what we can affect rather than what we can't. Actually, what I wanted to check was if anybody had, he's got available traits because we have 18 command power. It would make Field Marshal Boldyrev. It would make. Okay, he's got a pretty good set available to himself in Field Marshal traits, honestly. Infantry expert be good, but offensive doctrine is something we really want as well. Logistics wizard be nice, but I will take that later. I think for now we'll get infantry expert for an offensive firepower. So since we're not going for an entrenchment stack this time around. And let's focus back on the situation in Spain here, where we are about to break through, I think, on two front lines. So if we can, we've got friendly attacks running as well. The troops in the north are not trying to reconnect to their encircled members. They might have not gotten the news yet. But if we can free up all these militia divisions by destroying the, okay, that's a good start. We'll join here to destroy the encircled 2nd Mountain and 11th Infantry, and then we will use the other tank division once they've broken through across to help out with the rest of the encirclement, and that I think will be a massive change in firepower overall. These troops are encircled. Encirclement penalty is actually working this time around. We are attacking across a river line. That is less than ideal. But we'll keep piling it on from here. We have to from the other side of the river, and we are running the next assault already against a large part of increasingly demoralized and undersupplied troops. However, the 8th Infantry is still holding strong, relatively strong here. So we'll have to see how well that fight is going. Because they're not yet encircled, but we're pushing them back, and we want to keep the momentum going. Let's quick look over in the Americas. We do not wish to. Okay, have we secured? Oh, it seems like we actually have pushed back enemy positions in the north here. Supply situation still not great. Let's motorize that. Cheyenne is still not. Denver is still not connected because they haven't finished that railway line here, and we haven't been able to take the supply up in the south of it. But have we actually? We actually now joined the border with the American Union. It might be interesting. We'll see if they can affect a push towards San Antonio, but we're not going to get involved in that. It might be interesting to. We'll keep pushing north from here, but it might be interesting to see what else we can do there. All right. There was another supply position somewhere. Okay, that's a little far out, but we can probably push towards that. So let's see if we can. Secure the supply hub in the north, and we'll simply break out and secure the lines here as well, as there's not an awful lot of resistance, and we are here just consolidating the front lines. We'll see if we can cut them off from their main supply. Bulgaria's situation in the Fourth Balkan War has been perilous for some time as the Belgrade Pact's forces and our volunteers continued to push their forces out of major strategic sectors for the past few weeks. The final blow has finally been dealt as Sofia's government has announced their desire for peace. With our armed forces withdrawing, happily celebrating their victory and the border regions slowly being redrawn, Serbia, Romania and Greece have come forth with further requests for equipment to replenish their forces and economic relief to stabilize the situation. And yes, Russia will shape the future of the Balkans once more. 10 army experience, I'll take it. And we are slowly inching our way towards 150 political power. But the bigger question I have is, what's the resistance looking like? Okay, increasing obviously resistance targets still at 60 to 70%, which is not good. So we will see how that situation develops. But what's the efficiency now? 30% garrison efficiency is okay. Mountain Republic works reasonably well, but Kazakhstan is bad. So 30% garrison efficiency, mostly due to it's the support equipment that we're missing as well. We've got it's 52x support equipment. That's not huge, but 6,500 guns are missing to pacify the locals there. So that's a problem. All right. Meanwhile, in Spain, we have managed to collapse the enemy lines here, and I think that is going to be the last. This is the bigger encirclement. This is going to be the last fight, the last battle of the encircled Carlist troops here in central Spain, and that'll fracture their lines pretty badly from there on. And I think from then we'll be finally on the offensive here. There's one division still fighting. And the first special is going to return to Madrid. They have to they will have to reconstitute themselves. There's one division still fighting, but it's not going to be very much longer under the concentrated assault from multiple forces. that are engaging them here, and we are actually defending. The first armored is defending against a counterattack. So we'll get the first specialized from the north, from Madrid, to help out with as well. And more troubles brewing in China, by the looks of it. Oh, it looks like Dominion is pushing back and Lahore has been encircled. Okay, so the commune might be destroyed here after all. Transmission from the National Protection Alliance. Okay, the Guangzhou. Yeah, that's more civil war in China. Not getting involved there. It's an interesting question. Do we support the commune at the price of potential future? India is a potentially large and a potentially important ally, but we also don't want to strengthen the syndicalists too much. There has to be some form of balance. We'll let them fight it out. We'll see how it ends up going. But we have encircled the remaining troops here, and I think this is going to be a significant victory. There they go, a significant victory for the Russian troops in Spain, after which we can get the two armored divisions to start effecting a push towards Burgos, basically, and probably through the lowlands and then towards Burgos, and to end this war once and for all. Meanwhile, Bulgaria. So after the dramatic loss that they've taken, the Fatherland Front has taken over in Bulgaria. If anything's called a front, it's usually syndicalist. Having once dominated over the Balkan Peninsula, the Tsardom of Bulgaria has fallen, defeated in war by its enemies in the Belgrade Pact. The so-called national catastrophe has destabilized the state and paved the way for radicalism to take hold. Mere weeks after the signing of the Treaty of Sofia, the government has collapsed completely. It has been replaced by the Fatherland Front, an alliance of Republican forces in the country who have seized control from exile and the underground. Though they have a strong socialist element, they are also allied with a decidedly non-socialist Agrarian National Union. Whichever of these forces takes charge, however, it is suspected that they will seek a path to peace in the Balkans. So this is not terrible overall, because it does create division. Division is power. So divide et impera. It does create a socialist bloc in the middle of all these countries that is potentially supportive of the French and prevents a link up of the old Central Powers. All right, so a quick look over to the Americas. How are we looking? And I think we are looking good here. American troops congregating in the north there. And we are pushing back against them, but I think we can pretty much. Is there any supply positions? Yeah, that's a supply position in the north that we want to secure. So let's push towards the Canadian border, secure the territory for the Pacific states, and then we'll work on clearing out the remaining United States divisions here in the area. Okay, we have an MIO complete. That is the Obukov, and I think that was artillery. Yes, that is artillery. So let's see, what do we got? Somebody mentioned that these medals actually work slightly differently from how it was described in the game, but that was, I think, on a different MIO. So we're using this for artillery. We've used the 5% defense for towed artillery, and now we get the choice. That's for anti-tank, that's for anti-air, that whole branch, I think. Yes, so that's the anti-air branch, that's the anti-tank branch. We're going with the artillery branch for now. We can get 5% breakthrough or another 5% defense. We've already taken defense here, so I think breakthrough is probably not bad. Or we take another defense again. We'll take breakthrough this time to balance it a little bit more out. All right. We're still producing the all Have we gotten a new artillery piece, or am I missing? No, we're still researching the anti-tanks, and the new improved artillery is still off. So we don't need to upgrade that. We'll do that with the next one. All right, Spain. Final fight south of Madrid. Final battle against the encircled last standing 14th Infantry Division, which is about to fall. And with that, also all the volunteers have returned. With that, also the railway gun that has been causing us so much grief. And we've overrun them, and the railway gun seems to have been destroyed in the fighting. So now it's time to decide what we do next. I think the lines are pretty open. So instead of bolstering the Tarragona-Zaragoza line here, instead I think we will literally be pushing for the enemy heartland. So let's change the front lines here and see where we can break out north of Madrid, with the goal of taking making it all the way towards the coastline. So let's get these two divisions, new offensive line all the way to Bilbao. All right, we'll get them to move. We'll get them to move into position, and then we'll see if we can simply just break through and finish this. So yeah, resistance is starting to become a problem. And yes, it is organizing. We're at 41%, so which means that we're at 61% garrison efficiency. So we're still waiting for 6,500 guns, but we're getting there. So the important part is that we get the garrison efficiency under control before the resistance organizes too well. Chaos. It says chaos in Central Asia. That doesn't seem to be a national spirit. So I'm not sure where that exactly comes from. Foreign volunteers, political actions. No, not an awful lot. All right. So there's another problem. And that is that we're 60 days away from the union activity of the union to revive the republic. So if we haven't that social, we lose 3% stability. We might get anger on both sides. We get peasant marches, and social liberalism gets 3% popularity. That is not that bad. I don't want to spend another 40 on the press censorship campaign, even though it does give us weekly stability. But we need first we need to get off civilian economy. That needs to happen. All right, so troops are moving into position in Spain to finish off. Friendly troops have returned from the Balkans. Resistance is becoming an issue, and there's still civil wars going on all over the place in Central Asia. Plus, it looks like the Dominion of India is pushing back against the Commune. So it'll be up to us to decide if we want to potentially send some support towards Calcutta in order to deprive the old Republican forces, the old monarchist forces, from retaking Europe. It's all about the balance of power in the end. It's about keeping your friends close and your enemies closer, and to ensure that no faction gets out of this war too strong for the Russian Empire to handle. Because in the end, all we want to do is create a peaceful democracy and to live with others, but we don't want to strengthen any faction too much that would become a third world war or some kind of Cold War afterwards. The goal is to defeat the German Empire, to retake what's ours, to remove the German stranglehold of German capital, and then hopefully to find peace. And if the syndicalists can find that the cooperation with Russia has shown that we can coexist peacefully, then they're free to do within the people are free to choose whatever kind of government that they want.